Hello, everyone. Welcome to Footy Abroad here on this lovely Tuesday, the 10th of September, 2024.
Hello.
We are here, semi-final week. All three of our teams are officially out of the finals race after the Blues bundled out in disgraceful fashion. Jake from Saints TV. Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. Hello, everyone. Good to be here.
Yes. Luke from Swoop. Luke, hello.
Hey guys, been good. It's been a well, we talked about it off camera, bit of silly season, and welcome, Terry. Welcome to the silliest of seasons now.
He's firmly in it.
I hate
to
it.
the dark side.
Got to paint my face this week. Got to put that wig on. Got to tell everyone what I think about Dan Houston and Nick Haynes and Josh Battle and it's just gross.
Yeah, good.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. You get used to it.
Do you enjoy silly season, like as a content creator?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, easy 8-minute videos. Record it, put it up.
It's
talk about. It's I like. I just like. I think I just like gossip so much, and that's why I like even not even just footy gossip, just gossip in general. If mum's talking about someone at work that I don't even know, I'm like, where's the coffee? Tell me everything that she did today. I'm like, I just love that shit. So I think silly season and the rumors and trade rumors and stuff really I buy into that sort of way of thinking.
Yeah. It's the only time during the season where you acknowledge the Twitter accounts with one follower. Those are the ones that you got to be wary of, Terry, where they're like, I've heard something in the know. The whisper, that's I don't know if he's still going around, but he was big 5 years ago.
Man.
Do you remember him? The trade whisperer? Yeah. I don't know what his strike rate was, but yeah. It's always.
Do you guys get a lot
accounts.
of I'm hearing this?
In what way?
I get a lot of people that are like, "Oh, I've heard so and so," but they didn't hear it. No one told it to them. They read it somewhere.
Yeah, I get.
Yeah, it definitely gets easier. Like, at least the more you do these channels, the more people you meet, and there are people that you can trust in this space. Yeah. So maybe 3 years ago, this time would be really painful because I genuinely wouldn't know what to believe or what's actually feasible or not. But when you meet people and you can be in certain groups, I can go to someone or a couple of trusted people and be like, hey, what do you think here? And they'll basically not tell me, but they'll just give me a thumbs up or down, like if it's ballpark. So that helps. I guess there's not that many outrageous ones at the moment being rumored, is there? Like, there's no crazy ones. There's no Jamara to Collingwood or any of those crazies.
Besides the track stuff, there's not really.
Yeah, track was the biggest.
That's all died down.
Is it though?
Well, they're doing that external review, aren't they? So not that track's got anything sort of to do with that, but that's crazy. Like, after their president came out and said what she said about Petrarca and the culture and stuff, she leaves a week later, and now they're doing a whole review of the. And correct me if I'm wrong, they did one recently, didn't they? A internal review.
Yeah, this is external though. I don't know how big of a difference it's going to be, but I don't. How would you be as a Melbourne fan knowing that people say things and then they jump ship the next week? You couldn't trust the club right now, could you? We've all been there with administrations. That's
a dark place to be. When you lose trust, that's a really dark place to be.
Would you have lost trust as a Melbourne fan if the situation unfolded the way it has?
Yeah, man. If that was like Cripps, or Sam Walsh, and those sorts of stories are getting out, oh my God, I'd be rattling cages to find out what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, far out. Not our circus, not our monkeys, thankfully. We're all pretty sound at the moment, which is good.
Yeah. It's early days, but it's a good start.
Yeah, touch wood.
So what we'll do is, why don't we go and review a little bit of what happened in last week's finals, and then we can maybe later in the show look ahead to the finals coming up, and then see if the three of us can come up with a couple of topics that we want to talk about. Go from there.
Cool.
You guys, you nailed it with Port all year long.
Yeah, it's I also said, even when they went top 4, I said Essendon, I couldn't trust them at all, and then they faltered out. I said that they were one of my teams that will drop out of the 8. But yeah, Port Adelaide, and Jake, we'll touch on it when we talk about your topic a little bit later. But Port Adelaide, that was inexcusable. Like, if they lose now to Hawthorn, which I think they probably will, I think it's so long a goodbye for Ken Hinkley. It'd have to be. It'd have to be.
The fans want it. How outrageous is that? The fans want. This is as close to change as they've gotten, because every time they've wanted change, Ken, to his credit, gets the team up and about, and they go on a run. They play good football and they win games, and you can't sack a coach when he's winning games and he's in the top 4. Straight sets though. This has got, Grant Thomas was the same. Made a few prelims, didn't finish the job in 04, 05, 06. Play Melbourne, first week elimination, get knocked out. Next week he's gone. Made the call, you're out. How many chances can you give someone? And people are coming out now saying, "Oh, but give Ken credit. They've got a pretty average list." It's like, I wouldn't say their list is average. I mean, they've got some pretty good players there.
Yeah, I think they've got they've got a real deep midfield as well with Horn Francis, Butters, Rose. They've got a really good list. Maybe their forward line's a bit questionable, but their top 4, they finished second. They finished second on the ladder.
Yeah, they've beaten Geelong. In Geelong, track record's been pretty good. It's one of those ones there's no excuses.
If they lose this week, does he have to go? I don't think he has to go. Do you think he has to go?
I think I don't know if he has to go, but I would be saying that's an 80% chance upwards of that he wouldn't be coach next year. But who's there to take who's better in waiting in the wings? That's the thing.
They're saying that Josh Carr has got that succession plan.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because let's just say Josh Carr, for example. Well, yeah, he's had a great lead up. He might be ready to coach, but you're only a coach for the first time when you're the coach for the first time. So you've got to learn lessons and relationship habits. And I fucked up with that selection this week. I'll learn from that. Like, Ken's been there, done that. They're so close. They keep getting into the top 4. It's a big call.
I think
if that was Carlton though, Terry, what would you sort of? You finished second and you get demolished by 84 points. It's happening year in, year out. What do you sort of? Because I know if that was us, I'd be absolutely fuming if we hadn't won a premiership and we're just there, just teasing for years.
I asked this question the other day, and it's a good one because we've only just started playing finals the last 2 seasons. So we were sacking coaches that couldn't even get us to, winning seasons to play finals. Yeah. And then I was like, well, what happens if we make 3 prelims in 4 years or maybe a granny and lose and not get the job done? Are we going to be saying, oh, well, we need to get enough? So it's almost like you've got 2 sets of standards, like a coach that gets you competitive to play finals and then a coach that is good enough to win you a flag. And I don't know. I'm naive because I've never seen a premiership, but I'd like to think and guess that you've just really got to get yourself to prelim and hope for the best, because anything can happen from there or get to a granny. But it's hard to put expectations as grand final or bust. I mean, Brisbane's probably there this year. Port might be the other one. But that's tough.
Yeah. And well, it's hard because like the same with sort of Buckley. So like 2018, we lose that grand final and then we lose a prelim by a kick. 2020, we beat West Coast by like a point and then get smashed by Geelong. And then 2021 he's gone. And it just it's a bit, that's obviously a decline because you're getting one worse every single year. 2021 we finished 13th, 17th, 16th, 13th. I can't remember, but low on the ladder. So that you can kind of see that natural decline, but it was always 2019 was prelim or grand final or bust, we were saying. 2020 was the same sort of thing. And then that's obviously the COVID years, and we got absolutely mauled during there. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the expectations of what the board wants and what the fans want combined. And if you look on Twitter, if you look on Facebook and Instagram, those fans want fucking blood.
Yeah, that's the thing. The players say they love him, and they respect him. And I mean, they didn't show it on Thursday night, that's for sure. But when the fans are voicing their opinions that way, it's hard to ignore. They will know. But they've had this for years. This isn't new. And I guess that's the thing, is how many years... Like, is he signed... What's his contract like? Is it next year and that's it? Or did he sign a big extension?
I'm not sure.
Do we know? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
End of 2025. It just says.
Yeah. So...
and there's rumors that West Coast might give him 4 years. That's what some of the media is saying as well. So West Coast is sort of floating around. Okay. So he might just want a new challenge. But yeah. It's, do we think they're going to beat Hawthorn while we're on the Port Adelaide topic?
No.
I went to the Hawthorn Doggies game on Friday.
Oh, nice.
It's just they are just so committed to moving things and making quick decisions. They're always in motion. It's fucked. It's incredible. They just have a relentless commitment to movement of the ball.
Which is the weakness of Port. Massive weakness. So,
I think I'll back Port in for Ken. Yeah, the spirit. Everyone's writing him off.
And that's what Port do. That's what Port do best, Terry. Like Jake just said. It's not even backs against the wall. It's when Ken's questioned by his own fans. He's like, "Nah, fuck it. I'm firing you guys right up," and they usually win the next week.
You can't not like Ken. Like, do you like? Love him. I love Ken. Yeah, he's the last of his kind.
Yeah. I think seems like a good dude. Like, I'd love him as coach of the Pies if he, if we had him. Maybe it's just his team.
So break it down. The players obviously don't rebel against him. You're consistently making top 4. I know that they're getting bowed out in straight sets. So your players are buying in. You're consistently in the top 4. You're winning 15 plus games a season.
It's interesting because your fans are somewhat your stakeholders, right? And you want those memberships. You want them to turn up to games, and even though you're sort of winning, ultimately you want a premiership. How many prelims can you make and lose? Actually, I'd like to get that stat up with Adelaide finals.
But isn't he close to the record holder for most games coached without making a grand final? Or something like that. He's right up there, I believe.
I think you're right. I think I did hear that.
Yeah. So it's not a great record to have.
You never know what you've lost until it's gone, gents.
And that's
careful what you wish for. You don't know what's there until it's not there. Like, everyone was, complaining about Gil McLaughlin and the boys club, and now everyone's like, bring back Gil.
Yeah.
If they get pantsed, there's going to be serious questions asked. If it's just a bloody good fight, and it's like last time they played each other, and it's a goal of difference, and Hawthorn just pinch it.
Yeah,
I think that almost saves him. But if they lose the same way that they lost to Geelong, I think he's done. You cannot make top 4 and go out in straight sets and lose both games and get pantsed at home. It just that's inexcusable. Yeah, that is absolutely inexcusable.
Look at this comment from Glumnut. Great name. You want to put it up? Adelaide Crows have won more finals than Port in the last 10 years, and Adelaide haven't been in the finals for 7 years. That's nuts.
Have Adelaide not been in the finals for 7 years? For real? Is that? Wow. I just never associated that sort of with Adelaide. I always assumed they were, because they don't seem that bad in season. You always kind of fear playing them in Adelaide. It's never an easy game. That's a weird stat to associate with Adelaide. 7 years. So what? Since they made the granny, or something like? No, it would have been after that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
2017.
Since then, holy crap! Really? They haven't made five. They lost that badly that day. They needed to take 8 seasons off just to recoup.
Let's see. 17
For real?
was the grand final. 18 they didn't make it. 19 they didn't make it. 20, yeah, they haven't made a final since the grand final.
Holy crap! That's an underrated stat that no one's talked about. That's huge.
And so 2015 they made a semi. 16 they made a semi. 17 the grand final, and then nothing else since then.
I mean, side note, but I'm astounded they didn't win in 17. They were kicking goals for fun that year. It was crazy.
Yeah. True.
Richmond were doing a Hawthorn. They were just flying. You couldn't stop them.
Yep. So hey, I've got an update on Smart Ball. You guys aware?
Yes.
Ladies and gents, the Smart Ball technology has had its major breakthrough and it's decided a game. Those of you who don't watch the AFLW, the Blues actually won a game at the death because of the Smart Ball and the chip. So to paint the picture, Matty Gearin snaps a ball, kicks a goal. Kicks what was called a touched behind. They played Gold Coast away. Umpire's call was touch. They reviewed it. Now, what they don't have yet is like a visual. They don't have a video that shows you snicko or whatever. But the ball they were able to determine that the ball was kicked. And then when it was touched over the line. And it decided the game. Carlton won by a point.
That's fucking nuts.
Brilliant.
That's nuts. And like, that wouldn't have been picked up on the security. Not that all AFLW grounds have it, but the security camera footage that we have for Arc System, it wouldn't have been picked up. Snicko. That's just that one result has paid for everything that has gone through, and all the people saying it's no good. Bring it into the finals, the men's finals now.
Yeah, well,
that's incredible.
Yeah, so they just need a visual now. So they just need. I mean, that's not easy. That can't be too hard to find.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of like what the EPL does with their goal line technology, where it's just virtual, kind of goes over the line. You might see a finger go onto the ball or something. That's awesome. That's fucking incredible. And you guys won. Was it by a point or something?
Was it what? Sorry.
Wasn't it by like less than a goal? You guys won by
a point. I want to try and find the footage.
They should get Big Ant Studios onto the graphic.
They always deliver, those guys.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, give them a good budget.
You guys just talked amongst yourselves. I'm going to find this footage.
Right, find the footage. What were we talked last week about all the finals, Jake, and last week we said fucking all these finals are going to be decided by a goal or two, and then the next day the Geelong
next day hold my beer,
bang, insane. What was your, and we'll ask Terry when he finds his footage, but what was your favorite final that was played?
I mean, I loved the Hawthorn Doggies just for the crowd. It just felt like a grand final, not just a final. Yeah. And it was so loud because both fans are so desperate for success now. I mean, Hawthorn fans have been there, but they probably didn't expect it to come this quickly again. So they're pumped. And then the Doggies fans are the Doggies fans. They want that next flag. I mean, how can you go past Sydney Giants that last quarter? How can you go past what Heaney did? Papley set up the last 3 goals or something, direct handballs, insane. But yeah, it's just mind blowing what he did.
And that was Papley returning from injury, right? Because he hadn't played in like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, he had returned and he did that. It's not going to be as noticed.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay. So you're looking out for number 18. I think she's here. Okay. Maybe I'll.
Carlton girls.
Sorry, she's here.
That's cool. They definitely need a graphic because that was insane.
Yeah, you can't be talking through that.
It's a bit of a trust me, bro. Yeah.
But so I don't know if you can answer this, Terry. You seem to be all over it, but they can tell when it's touched. But how do they tell that it's touched over the line? Is there sensors on the goal line as well?
The chip is matched to the lines that are drawn on the ground.
Oh, right. Okay, I must have missed that. Yep.
So it would know that it was touched again when it was touched on the line, but it would be able to tell if that ball was over the line or if it wasn't.
Yes. Yep. Fuck, that's
brilliant.
Oh, they don't call it smart ball for nothing. That's
genius ball, genius tech,
genius ball, game-winning ball. Yeah.
There, it's 3D mapped. Yeah, that's once we get the graphics in, which I think they'll just try and get done during this off season. We'll see it in the preseason of the AFL boys, the men. Sorry, they're not boys. The men. That's gonna be incredible.
Oh,
that's gonna be so fun to see.
I want fireworks from the posts.
You've been saying that. What were we talking about? LED, LED lights that kind of say goal when they like go really fast.
Yeah, I wish they did something like Terry, or maybe even you would, Luke, in FIFA, where there's like, if you verse a mate, there's a mode where it's got like the ball has like powers after like a certain amount of things that you do. So imagine like you land like 3 marks in a row, and then that means the ball's turbocharged and you can kick it 80 meters. Imagine that. That'd be sick.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my God.
That'd be fun.
That could be done. That'd be so cool. Anyway.
Oh, I've got my topic. It's a very quick question. So it was sparked from, we had De Koning as the sub, and we subbed Matt Kennedy. Both were controversial depending on who you spoke to. Can you imagine if you had like an app during a game, you connected to your club, and you got to vote on who the sub was for a game?
Like fucking Big Brother. That's sick.
Like you vote for it live.
Imagine you vote the emissions during the week. Leave it to the fans.
The fan week. Build the team. Yeah.
The whipping boy would just cop it. He'd have 30 and 5 goals, and he'd get subbed out if the fans just voted him out. Poor guy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting. But like, if we want to talk about that sub for a sec, that Kennedy thing, just as a sub, was just fucking. He just had a baby. He flew up late. He played every game. One of 3 players
every game. Yeah.
Cripps, Kennedy, and Holland.
Cripps, Kennedy, and
Newman might have played.
Newman played every game.
And then to get subbed out after, I just think it was. I know there was a lot of things that went wrong, but that was harsh. Mate. His face, he's just, and all Carlton fans were just blowing up because they were like sad for him. Like they were saying, one guy said he should have just stayed home with his daughter. Like it would have been better for him, you know?
I saw De Koning warming up, and I'm like, oh my God, they're going to sub him in. I mean, we were down at this point, maybe 41-0. And I turned and I'm like, we saw him run on De Koning, and we're like, oh, who got subbed out? And we're talking amongst ourselves. I'm like, oh, it must have been Pitto. And we're looking around like, oh, no, Pitto's there. I was like, oh, maybe it was Durden, because Durden had the shoulder that he was carrying, and must have been Durden. We saw the official sub. It was Matt Kennedy. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, whatever. We're just fans. But I guess we can talk about the Brisbane Carlton game. What a disaster. An absolute.
What did Voss say? Why was Kennedy the one that was subbed out? Surely they asked him.
He didn't touch on it too much, but when he did touch on it, he referred to the plan. The plan was initially to sub Pitto off, but I mean, we're down 41-47-0. So the plan got thrown out, and for whatever reason, Kennedy was the first name to go. Everyone's the general after the battle. Could have been this, could have been that. Kennedy, though, when you look at the logic, he plays in so many positions this year. He actually has played in every part of the ground all year. He's got a really unique stat. That was the other part. Like, he's had the baby. Like, fair enough. You know, he's put his hand up to play, and he's come up to play. But they did this feature on him as well with AFL.com and like about his story. And it's like, the build up was about him, and
the fact that he's played every game and he'd been trusted all season up until that point, and then when the going gets tough, you sub him off. I'd be livid.
If I'm an opposition club, and like, I know I'm a Carlton supporter and I'm biased, but if I'm an opposition club, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, mate, get over here.
I'll lure him, you reckon? Yeah.
I don't know
He
if
looked
you guys rate
pissed.
Kennedy. I'm very aware that I might rate Carlton players better than what they actually are.
I like him. I like him.
I think he's good. I think he's very good.
He's versatile. He just does whatever he's asked to do, and whatever. It was an awful day. It was an awful night.
Who would you have subbed? Who would you have subbed?
One of the Durden, because he was literally like hanging his shoulder with him. I would have probably subbed Zach Williams because that wasn't working. He ended up going behind the ball.
Yeah, that was my pick.
To be honest, Doc, at that point you're down 41-0, 47-0.
Yeah,
and
I think the hard, like we talked about it together, and then me and Jake talked about it last week, where there's a certain number of players when they come in, if it's 6 or 7 players from injury, putting them on, losing percentages is higher than winning. But out of all those players that we sort of talked about and said, oh, does Zach Williams going to go? We said Doherty might be the sub. TDK had the best probably run in because he was injured and then was building up, that more so than a Chera, than a Williams, than a Doherty, or maybe not Doherty, Williams, Chera, and these other guys. And I don't know why. As soon as he came on, the game didn't change, but it changed slightly, and you kicked 5 in a row. He was great.
Yeah, he was probably at like 60% capacity. And I also learned a really big deal about him during the game, a bit about his character. He's got something special as a player and the way he does his role. But I think they obviously decided that they wanted to bring him on for the second half and have a bit of a, finish the game strong. I thought you had to ask Brisbane the question early and plant the seeds of doubt. But then it's tough. You start deconing and then you've got to bring him off. Like that's maybe a harder conversation than the other way around. The reality is we got exactly what we deserved. The story of the week was that Sam Doherty came back from an ACL and it was inspirational. And fortunately or unfortunately, the story wasn't about how we win the game. So, yeah.
As a Collingwood supporter, the hate watch was incredible. I'll admit that. The hate watch was
perfect, mate.
I was at home alone. Had my Ross back from
your little voodoo doll.
The hate watch was great, but I didn't expect it to go like that. That's for sure.
No,
in the end,
I watched it.
Yes.
I watched it with my Brizzy mate, and even at 60-0, he was still shitting his pants. I'm like, mate.
Oh,
I think
Brisbane, you can't trust him.
I think you're right. He just had the opening round in the back of his mind. He's like, nah, I hate when we start fast, And then you guys kicked a couple. He's like, nah, it's happening again. He couldn't enjoy the game. Even Brisbane fans couldn't.
There was a moment. Harry kicks a goal from a set shot. I think that might have been 3 or 4 in a row. I mean, I was up. I was like, this is it. Like, come on. But, yeah, I guess at least we got to feel something for a moment.
Actually, I want to ask a question as well, obviously to you, Terry. And I guess, Jack, you can answer it as well. I was talking to Dad, and I don't know if it's because Collingwood just aren't in the finals, but I haven't felt that the finals have been built up as well as they have previously. I don't know if that's because I'm not doing finals content or because my team just isn't in the finals. It didn't really feel like finals week, maybe because it was only one game in Melbourne. What did you, as a team in the finals, Terry, what did you sort of see the build up as?
Oh, I mean, I felt it because I went on Friday night as well. I definitely felt it. I was shocked at the turnout on Friday night. I mean, the Hawks crowd was insane. I spilled red wine on my white pants on Friday night. That's another story. So I definitely felt the spirit of finals footy. But I get what you're saying. There's a lot of interstate teams in there. And listen, it was all set up. Collingwood, Carlton had to be in there. The Saints, they had to be in there. And it's just not going to be the same. I mean, the Bombers really, they maybe had to be in there as well. It would have added something else.
How many finals were at the G for week 1 last year? We were there. Carlton, Sydney was there. Collingwood were there. Yeah. So the first weekend was Melbourne.
Yeah.
It was the G.
And there's no finals in Melbourne this week, right?
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One next week, the prelim with Geelong and then the granny. So there's only 2 more games at the G for the year.
Crazy.
When you think about it.
Oh, and also, talking about the G and Geelong and stuff, Jake, last week we talked about where would the Giants play their prelim. I know they lost, but they were going to play. They were going to play at NG Stadium. So they're going to play their final there, their semi, and they were probably going to play the prelim there. I heard. I read somewhere that they were saying.
Really?
Which is only like a 30,000 venue, I think.
What's the SCG? 50? 40?
I think 55.
It's not 50, is it?
I think it is. I think we got close to
48.
48.
Yeah. Okay.
According to Google.
Yeah.
Fair
so you can
enough.
You can see why Geelong are pretty arsed that they're not playing at GMHBA. But who would they verse? They would verse Giants or
no, they verse
Brisbane or
Giants or Brisbane.
Yeah, Giants or Brisbane.
Yeah.
Which if you're versing the Giants, you would make an argument that it should be at GMHBA.
I wonder if they've put out any feelers already, or they're just not going to try because the AFL always push it back. Surely you keep trying.
You got to keep.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to, especially like what we just talked about. There's been one MCG final so far. Imagine taking the prelim away. You just got the granny.
Wow.
That'd be crazy. 2 finals in a whole final series at the G would be nuts. But I mean, interstate clubs are flying at the moment, so what do you expect?
Look, good on them.
Yeah, putting the Vic teams to shame at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jake, what was on your mind, mate?
On my mind, so I mean, it's kind of, I guess, off the back of Port, and even then to Geelong to an extent. What makes a team so dominant during just the home and away season, and why does that not translate into finals? What's the difference? To me, do you think finals are always feel different? Because I was having this chat with my Brisbane mate watching the Brisbane Carlton game, and surely you go into these games preparing the same. Surely once the ball's bounced, it feels the same. The build-up is what's different, right? So once the game's going, don't you just get back into the business as usual mode and you do your role and you make sure you hit that kick? And I mean, the pressure's up a little bit, but even then, the pressure gauge for Carlton and Brisbane was below average on both sides. So it's that argument of, the pressure's through the roof is not, statistically it's not there. So what causes such a panic for a team like Port? And then why are there teams like Geelong that do the opposite? They don't struggle through the home and away season, but they kind of cruise through it, go through their ups and downs. They don't jump out of the blocks and look amazing, but then when finals come along, they're a different beast.
I think what
does that come down to?
Expectation, like living up to expectations.
Yeah.
So Geelong, what is it now? 13 out of their last 18 seasons, they've been in preliminary finals. Port Adelaide, we sort of talked about it earlier. Their expectation is that they're in Adelaide. They finished second. They need to win. So even though the pressure isn't physical, it's just all in their head. The same sort of thing has happened to us numerous times. Bulldogs as well. The pressure of the weight of expectation of their 3 forwards having. I think they ended up with at one point it was 1 mark between all 3 of them, Darcy, Norton, and Jamari Ugle-Hagan, up until like 3/4 time or something like that. So that's I think it's the mental pressure.
Because it's someone put it. I don't know who put it out a few weeks ago. They're like, basically, and this translates to the first week of finals when you think about it. 2024 is which team shits the bed the least, and you look at each final in with that literally that phrase. You're like, Thursday night, who shut the bed? Port. Okay, fair enough. Moving on to the next game, Bulldogs shut the bed. You go GWS. You could say to an extent they shut the bed. They had the game done, and they freaked. They choked. And then you go Saturday night, Carlton, but then to an extent, midway through the third, towards the end of the game, Brisbane kind of froze up a little bit. So there was not one team. Geelong. Let's just say Geelong were the only team out of 8 to really just go there and get the job done for 4 quarters and not worry about anything else. You know?
Coaching, fundamentals,
culture.
Buzzwords.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. They do the basics so well, Geelong. And I think a team like Port, all you need to do is steer away from the moment with your focus. And then that's that split second, the whistle goes away a little bit more in finals.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of that. So for whatever reason, defenders can seemingly defend better in finals, I think. I don't know if it's they're defending better or if the forwards just, like it's not too often that a power forward takes over a game in a final. Maybe in a final, but in grannies, it doesn't happen as much.
Yeah. That's a good point because you look at, during the season, every team has players that look exceptional during the season, but in the finals, it's very specific type of players that take the game by the scruff of the neck and take it to a new level. And you look, at times I can't stand him, but Dangerfield, holy crap. Like the way he leads that club away from home in a final, Jeremy Cameron, it's like give him 3 or 4 possessions and he will destroy you. Like during the season, there's such a big pool of these sort of moments. You're like, okay, it's easy to forget how unique Jezza and Danger and Heaney and these sort of players are. But in finals, it's isolated, there's those moments. Less is more. And they don't need the big touches or the big tackles, but they have that big moment or two, and that decides a game. Heaney, he had 2 or 3 big moments that decided the game. Yeah. I mean, they were calling them big moments is actually an understatement. How good that performance was, but
pretty good mark as well. Not gonna lie,
mate. That's mark of the year. Are we all in agreement that they should just give him mark of the year? Like it is the mark of the year.
They don't count finals marks, do they?
No, they don't. All goals. So Jez's goal wouldn't count.
That's crazy.
And Heaney's mark is outrageous. It's one of the best marks I've seen in years.
Goal in the finals?
No, there's not.
No.
There should be. There needs to be. They need to put it in today. They need to put it in this year where on Brownlow night, which is when they do the awards anyway, give a mark and goal of the final series. The grand final, you take a great mark in the grand final, that's awesome. That's your award. You got to a grand final and you took a great mark, right? Or you kicked a good goal in the grand final to help your team win. But during the final series, they do a best player of the finals. So why not just do a mark and goal and just have a finals category for an awards?
We've just made the AFL more money. New sponsor for the new mark of the finals. Yeah, great.
There you go. Because I understand why mark of the year isn't counted in finals because it's not fair to the other 10 teams that aren't competing and showing or strutting their stuff. So I get it. I kind of get it. So that's why it just needs to be its own category. You're doing an amazing job. You're in finals. You took a great mark because that's probably. Mark, I guess I'm maybe biased towards Jamie and Bobby's incredible high-flying marks, but that Isaac Heaney was one of the best marks I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
very good.
Should they put the Brownlow after the granny, or is it good prelim final, post prelim final, as a complete cap of the year? Just no focus on the games. This is the night of nights for the players. Congratulations to the premiership winning side. Now let's get to the players of the year. Here's mark of the year and goal of the year, including all of the finals.
They do that for the NRL, don't they?
I don't know what the NRL does. Yeah,
well, they would all be so loose if we did Brownlow night after granny. Like there would.
Imagine, it's annoying when they interview. Well, they interview the grand final teams. They're on the waters, and they're like, oh, and all they do is talk about the game. It's like, it gives a shit. Like, let's just get to the Brownlow votes. Is there any reason why it's before the granny? Like, it doesn't add to the granny, apart from if a grand finalist player wins it, and they get to just say on grand final day, and this year's Brownlow medalist out of the middle. Like Neil or whoever.
Like Neil last year.
Yeah. Like, is it
probably makes it harder?
Need to be.
Like, it probably makes it harder if you win a Brownlow and you're in the granny.
Yeah,
'Cause,
like
I
your
mean, your
focus,
preparation's
the
already a bit
attention.
messed up.
Correct. Whereas if
I
you
know.
play that week is grand final week, so more parades during the year, depending on where the teams are played. More coverage of the game, and then cap off the year the week after. It's the BNF of the year. Clubs don't have a BNF with a game to go. Just leave it.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Swoop Luke, what's on your mind?
So my topic was going to be about. So I came in here with the thought of I'm developing a football board game. I don't have any of my props with me, so that maybe can be for another video. I just thought of one while we were talking. I saw the other day, Kane Corns came out and questioned Butters coming off the ground with the bruised rib or a rib injury. We don't know. He got subbed out at halftime. They're one of their leaders, the most courageous player, he was saying. And he said something along the lines of he needs to toughen up. Pendlebury played with broken ribs in his 400th game. But what I found interesting on that was the AFL Players Association, Paul Marsh, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, called Kane out in the Herald Sun and said he shouldn't be attacking players like this, calling him soft and whatnot. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the AFLPA boss coming out and targeting Kane Corns, who's been doing it. And it's not just Kane. There's a lot of other guys in the media that do this. Do you think it's a good look that the boss is sticking up for their players, which I think it is? Or is it like, are they going to do this all the time now when, Kane's obviously the one that does it all the time, but like, are they going to call it out all the time when Mark Robinson says, XYZ is not having, a good year because he's soft here. He should have went harder in for the ball. They said it with Nick Dacos. They said it with, who was that? Rochelle. They called him soft when he, heard voices or whatever they said going for the ball. Are they going to do it all the time? Is it a good precedent to set pretty much?
Well, I mean, that one's more like I guess it's all under player welfare. Someone had to call Kane out. He was just getting 100%. A bit emotional. He was getting a bit emotional. The Port Adelaide fan was probably coming out of him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was aware of it, Kane, because they called him. Paul Marsh, I think it was, that wrote the article, you said? He called Kane before he printed the article. So Kane was aware, and even Kane said it himself. He said, that's their job. Good on them. I'm glad they, if anything, they're backing their players and everything. I don't think he called him soft. I think it was something else, because I watched the clip of Kane talking about it where he said that some people...
Something.
Yeah, something else. He's like, I'm not calling him soft. I'm just saying, like, and he said he said his opinion after he looked at the medical results, and there was no damage done at all. So, I mean, it kind of justifies his thoughts there that maybe he was okay to play, but I don't know.
Play on.
I think it's play on.
Play on.
Do you think Paul Marsh would come out and protect his players all the time when something gets printed in like stupidly in the when Matthew Lloyd one day says Patrick Cripps fucking ducked his head here and that's weak of him to do? Is Paul Marsh going to say, mate, we can't be calling our players weak?
Yeah, I mean, if Paul Marsh feels the need to step in, I don't mind it. Yeah. I mean,
me either. Yeah,
it's just when you start talking about weakness and questioning integrity and character and things like that, that's when they'll step in.
Yeah,
it was good. I don't mind seeing that there was a back and forth with it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. No, I'm of the opinion that it was really good for him to sort of do that. I just wanted to see if that's the precedent that we wanted to set, and I'm kind of glad that it is, and that you guys kind of agree with that as well.
Yeah.
No fractured ribs. He got bruised ribs. There will be no further damage if he plays with bruised ribs. There's a lot of players who have played with bruised ribs. Paul's gone and said that I've called him soft. Paul's got to be really careful about putting words into my mouth that I didn't say. I said, Paul, I've never questioned Zach Butter's courage. I said it is a real challenge for him and he needs to grit his teeth. You don't like sit him up in the back of the dugout and let him get cold at the Adelaide Oval. If you're worried about him, you send him to hospital. If it was really that bad, true. You don't just sub him off and put him on the bench and leave him there. If it's that bad, you'd send him away.
Yeah, it's
I
like
agree
when you
with
say,
Kane
like,
here.
no offense, but like you are trying to offend.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I actually, in this sense, maybe not the exact words that he went about it, I think Kane's actually right.
I don't think he crossed a line. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
No.
he definitely didn't.
No way.
I think we've all seen Kane Corns cross a line with one of our players.
This is actually, this is him being semi-caring because it's Port. If this was any other club, he'd be ripping into 10 times more. Which was partly why I think they printed the stories because Caroline Wilson asked him if he said what he said because he heard murmurs from internal and from the club that maybe players didn't like him being subbed off. Maybe Butters himself didn't want to be subbed off, this sort of thing. And he's like, nah, there's nothing to do with that. It's just he should have played the game. If that was a granny, Butters plays out the game. It's not even a question, right?
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's a qualifying final. You get the week off. You could push through and you'll be fine. You know, that's the reward at the end of the day is if you're sore, you got 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I don't know. Each their own. Not the excuse for losing, but yeah, it kind of set the tone for the rest of the night.
Should we have a look at some games?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, let's get that predictor out, boys.
Hey, this is the first time I'm going to be excited to do it with you, Terry.
It's
not going to be rigged.
Hate footy.
I actually want to go back like off camera maybe next week you can do it. See how close we were with because we did a couple of versions.
Yeah,
I want to see how close we were. Did we nail the Oh no, you all went for Port. We all went for Port stupidly, didn't we?
I think in one version we didn't. I'll find them. Screen cap them.
Yeah, can you screen cap them? Because I want to remind myself exactly what we did.
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 of us. That means there's going to be a deciding vote. First semi-final is I think the first one's going to be Port Adelaide Hawthorn, but the Giants and the Lions at NG Stadium. Thoughts?
Yeah. That's
Fucking
a ripper.
Fantastic game.
What a game. Yeah. What an absolute 50-50 that is. Because Brisbane's best is better than the Giants' best, but the Giants are more consistently good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They beat them.
Generate a lot of scoring opportunities. They are wildly inaccurate.
That's the 5th or 6th game in a row they've kicked more points than goals. Brisbane.
They've just got to figure it out for 2-3 weeks and they'll win a flag because they generated plenty of chances.
Oh man, that was that comical. They missed 3 goals in a row.
The Bailey one where he's missed it completely.
Yeah. And then right in front hits the post. That was those couple of minutes where Carlton were fucking threatening him.
And they needed that settler and they didn't get it. Yeah. And the Giants beat them only a couple of weeks ago at the Gabba in a really good game. So the Giants will be pretty confident themselves. There's no injuries on either side. Oh, actually, Brisbane.
Jack Payne.
They lost Payne.
Well, they've given him a chance, but he was training with a knee brace today, I think. And they had footage of it. So.
Nah, I don't think he's playing. I think Darragh Joyce maybe comes in as a last.
I'm tipping Brisbane.
You're tipping Brisbane?
I'm tipping Brisbane to go all the way.
I'm going Giants.
Yeah, I'm going Giants as well. So I really do like Brisbane, but the Giants' body of work is, and they were really good against the Swans up until the last 15 minutes. Yeah, Giants.
Wow. All right, and then Port Adelaide Hawthorn. This is huge. So much at stake. Hawthorn, free hit. Guinea doing his thing, saying see you in 14 days. Bit of this, bit of that. Classic Guinea.
Hawks for me.
Yeah, I'm on the
Hawks train.
I just can't see. I know we've talked about for so many weeks. When is this Hawthorn momentum's going to stop? It's going to stop. It's going to stop.
Nah.
But they remind me of the Pies in 22-23, where it was just that exciting, fast, off halfback, run, no stop and start, no short kicks, no. They're ranked 16th or 17th for kicks down the line as well. Like they don't kick down the line; they just run with the ball. I just can't see Port Adelaide keeping up. No hope in fucking hell.
Nah. And they're going to be fuming. The Hawks will want revenge on the last time they gave them the win, Port, in the last minute when Burnt Jones kicked the sealer with like
Was that in the
5
wet?
seconds to go.
Was
Yep.
it raining
Yeah.
that day?
Yeah. So I don't know how
Oh
it's
my
going to
God.
be this week.
Hawk
I'm calling it
football.
right now. I'm just calling right now. I think it's going to be Geelong Hawthorn as a grand final. I've got a weird feeling it's going to happen.
Have they played? You know how they've had that rivalry for like the last 15, like the modern
Yeah.
rivalry. Have they played in grand finals together? I don't think they have they?
Oh, wait.
Not since 08.
Just 08.
Oh,
Just 08.
yeah.
But everything else was crazy during the season, qualifying finals, prelim finals,
Goals after
anything
Simon.
under the sun. Yeah. Bartel, when he kicked a point after the siren, I remember that in 09. They had some outrageous games.
The old Cats up against the fucking young Hawks would be.
So
I mean, to be honest-
so tip
Yeah.
this. You'd actually tip Hawthorn.
No,
at
I'd
the
probably
SCG?
I'd tip Sydney. My tip would be Sydney. I think Hawthorn will give them a run for their money. But after what I've seen with Sydney, what they did to us, what they did to the Giants, Papley gets another week's rest after coming off that injury. They're just Heaney will win best player of the final series. He's incredible. I love Sydney, and I think they're primed for a flag this year.
Do you know the interesting thing is Hawthorn are the big question mark against any team because I feel like no team knows how to play Hawthorn yet. No team has actually worked them out at all. And I think that's a massive advantage for a team like Hawthorn. Even Sydney, maybe, that for the year they've been better. But come that day when the ball's bounce, I reckon they got genuinely no idea where this ball's going and who's kicking the goals. That's what makes them so dangerous. They're spread, more so than Sydney's. And, I mean, I'm just going the underdog here. I mean, underdog in this final series, not overall, because they've won many flags, obviously. But I think it's... Yeah, I just got a weird feeling it's going to be Geelong Hawthorn. Because we talked about the interstate clubs being dominant all season.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jake's tipping Hawthorn. Luke, did you say
I'm
you tip
tipping
Hawthorn as
Hawthorn.
well?
No, I'm Sydney.
I would tip the Swans at the SCG. What about this game? Geelong and the GWS Giants at the MCG.
At the G.
Because how much do we read into what? I know it's going to sound stupid, but like, how much do we read into what Geelong did to Port Adelaide? I know it was an 84 point win, but Port Adelaide, like, I know Geelong were amazing. Obviously, you don't win by that much without being amazing. Port Adelaide were they couldn't run, they couldn't do anything. I think the Giants might roll the Cats.
No.
And I don't know why. I'm not saying that with any confidence, but I think it's a Sydney Giants grand final. If Sydney win.
Yeah. Just the fundamentals, the cream rises to the top, and the Cats, they're well coached.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, I would tip Geelong in that game.
Yeah. Oh my God! Imagine a rematch from a couple of
Oh,
years ago.
2022.
Yeah,
Except
it's a rematch.
Except it'll probably be the other way around, and Sydney win by like 7.
I think so too. I think you're right.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's why I wanted Hawthorn, because Geelong Hawthorn would be absolutely nuts, just from a spectacle point of view.
Yeah, that would be
nuts. Like, in terms of like those prelims and the most exciting matchup you could pick, it would be Hawthorn Geelong. It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or Hawthorn Giants.
Well,
I mean, that'd be
Hawthorn
nuts.
Giants would be
That'd be bloody exciting. Jeez, two young, quick teams.
Yeah.
Change it to the Giants and Hawks. Let's go.
Look at this. It's the two like strong club cultures, fundamentals, basic standards, the Bloods and the Cats, the cultures. Yeah. Who would you, if this was to happen, where would you go? Who would you tip?
Sydney.
I mean, who would I tip? Weirdly, my gut says Geelong, but I hate them so much, so I just make myself cheer for Sydney.
Wow.
Would this be the Giants' best chance at a flag? I know they're young still, but would this be their best run at a flag?
For sure.
Yeah, easily. Yeah. Even last year, if they had have beaten the Pies, I think Brisbane probably get them in the granny. Whereas here, if they make it, they're almost favourites apart from the Sydney game. Like, they'd be close to favourites if they play Geelong or Hawks. Obviously not Geelong.
The perfect thing about these prelims that we've just picked, any combination of grand final there is a good grand final. So Sydney Giants or Hawks Cats or Sydney Cats Hawks Giants, they're both very good grand finals.
And
that is fascinating.
That would be insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's due. It's almost due. The AFL wants that to happen. I mean, and the first qualifying final was outrageous. So if we have a replay of that at the G, I'm all in. And that's why you don't want pretenders like Port. We can't have Port winning this week, boys. We can't have Port going through because we don't want a 2022 Sydney Geelong situation where Port make a granny and then get pantsed.
If it's Giants in a grand
Imagine.
final, at least
Jeez, that honestly triggers me, Terry. Just doing that, like, get them out of there. Just doesn't look right. But knowing Port, the one time they make it under Ken, they probably win it. And then they sign him on for 8 years, and then he's there for life, you know?
Or he retires.
Or then he finishes on top. Exactly right. I mean, that in his head would be, surely he's thought about that. You know, if we win it this year, I'm done. I've done my job. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't, like, you can go back to back, but then that's just greedy. It's hard enough winning one, mate. Just go out on top. Yeah. You know? Damn.
Interesting stuff.
What's out of I was going to say out of the this week and next week, what would be the worst grand final possibility? Like the one that you wouldn't want?
Probably
Brisbane
Port.
Yeah.
Wait, no, a Port Geelong rematch.
Imagine. That
God. The 07 would be in the back of their minds. The qualifying final would be in the back of their minds. Imagine the torture in the lead up to that.
What game would get played first? The Geelong game maybe would probably get played first. Because almost, if that was the case, Port Adelaide would probably almost not want to fucking play the grand final if they saw that Geelong were in it after that. If we're talking about weight.
No, I think this top one would be first because this game is on Saturday.
Yep.
And this game is on Friday. So what's like a 7-day break there, 7-day break there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I know this because I booked my flights to Sydney.
3 weeks,
and I just got a voucher now. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Pathetic.
No, you gotta. Hey, what's footy without hope, right? What's footy without belief?
Well, you got to believe in something, I guess.
Exactly.
Well, that was all right. I thought I was going to cop it this show.
Nah.
I didn't get anything. I just didn't even have to answer to anyone.
Hey, we're busy.
Going down 60-0 was enough. I didn't have to say anything.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't kill. He's already dead.
Is it weird that it's 60-0? I was like, I can't believe this, but it flatters Carlton. I thought 60-0 flattered Carlton. I'm not even kidding.
I thought the end score flattered us, and that made me even more mad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was under 30 points in the end. That's outrageous.
When you see the fans were just ready. They ask you to support the boys and get behind. Like they were so ready. We were all there. We all knew logically we weren't winning the game, but a little bit of hope, finals fever. Yeah. And just halftime scenes, I go out the front, have a couple of darts with some random fans, just stress. Like I'm not a smoker, but I occasionally have a dart when I'm feeling it. Halftime, just chaining them, and then just sucked. Just cop that, everyone. All those mouthy Carlton supporters. Well, we're copping it as well. Fair enough. Joe Adamo's copping it. Bless him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you put yourself out there. You say things about other clubs, and
What round? I saw that clip going through. What round did he say that this is it? When we're winning the grand final.
So we had beaten Geelong by 10 goals.
Yep.
We were flying. We were looking so good. And he did this thing for a couple of weeks where he's like, Tez, I'm bored. And I remember thinking, Fair enough. Fair enough. Love you to death. It's tough. Joe is one of the most hardworking and diligent people in the space that I've met, and he loves his club. And he gets amongst the banter, and he cops it, and he gives it, and he's not one of those. It goes both ways, and that's just the nature of the game. And that's Joe. That's why I love him. I mean, I think it's cool when it's Collingwood supported. Like, I get it when it's Collingwood supporters, and he's obviously had a crack at them, and I get that. But when you see Carlton supporters and their accounts like going at him and like,
coming in from the calls coming from the house inside the house.
Yeah, it's like, hang on a minute, like, what are you doing? Like, you want a piece of the clout now? Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's whole different ball game.
Yeah. But I mean, whatever. Like, it's content. Like, one's morals are different to others' morals. Whatever. Like, that's the content game, and it's who makes the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I wasn't gonna. It was enough. Watching that game was enough.
I mean, what else could you say?
Yeah, exactly.
We've said it we've done it like we say it to ourselves. Like we I don't know. I learned the hard way. I don't think I say I don't say anything too bad anymore about clubs. I'd like to think I show a level of respect because I've gotten bitten in the past. And it's just like, mate, when are you going to learn?
Yeah. And oh man, I know we talked about this ages ago and we're about to finish, but being off Twitter since the Kangaroos game that we came back from was the best decision I've made in my whole entire fucking life. Because if I was on Twitter when, we were losing 4 in a row, or we were winning and we're coming back and it just gets clipped, and it was just it's been the best. It's been a joy. My mental health has improved. My therapist gives me gold stars now. It's good. It's good.
That's great. That's really cool. Yeah. That's, you know what? I think somewhere along the line in the last 2 years, somewhere there, I don't know when, Twitter became Facebook. That crowd.
Yeah, that's as soon as Elon Musk took over. That's when. As soon as it become X.
Maybe.
But but you're right. It has those. And fucking those Facebook comments. Yeah, you actually, that's a great observation. Yeah.
Because some of the Facebook people moved to Twitter, and Twitter was like the cool new place where the cooler older people were that were a little bit hit with the game. And then eventually the migration has just happened. And I fear for YouTube because I don't know about you guys, mate, the fucking YouTube comments on my channel, the best place.
Yeah.
Even when it's, there's debates and disagreement, it's just, it's thoughtful.
Yeah,
well researched, like
they're paragraphs.
Comments, paragraph. It's just beautiful.
It's great,
and I hope it stays that way. But fingers
crossed.
So,
is
that us?
Good. Yeah, good show.
Might be, very nice show.
Very good. Good to be back. I was on the Jumper Punch last week. 5 hours.
Oh, Terry, how?
Bro, that's just too much.
We were like from 7 p.m. to after midnight. We cracked 5 hours. Julia, yes, I do know Dan does footy. Yes, I do know who that is. 5 hours. So sorry I couldn't be here. But hey, well, here we go.
Yeah. Jesus.
All right, lads. Well, thanks for being here.
I just want to answer Paul's question quickly.
Oh yeah.
Paul, mate, this is just once, mate. Just once before I die.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what that is.
Oh, that is brilliant.
So, that's sick. Is that yours?
That's the Carlton draft. They dropped him last week. So
that's sick.
Very cool. Yeah. So that's where I got it, Paul. And brings me to tears too, mate. It's a bit
just one before I died.
That
is crazy.
Yeah. So I'll be wearing this quite a bit. Probably not around the club, to be honest, but at home.
Yeah. Probably not when you're in the room interviewing the players. Probably not a good.
Get them to sign it. That'd be unreal.
That'd actually be pretty funny.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, beauty.
All right. Well, good night, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Go footy. Yeah, go footy.
Yeah, go.
Oh, should we pick a team to sort of get on?
All right, pick your flag winner. True. Yeah. Pick your flag winner.
Flag winner.
Oh, I'm gonna go Ruffy. I'm gonna go Giants.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm on the orange. I said that last week.
Yeah, you
Orange
did say
team
that
was
last week, yeah.
my team. Yeah.
I'll go the Lions.
Yeah, lots of Lions in the comments. Yeah,
I'll go the
Lions.
Lions.
Cats,
The
20s.
Lions or the
Jeez.
Swans. Oh, I love
Yeah.
the Swans. I don't love the Lions, but I love the Swans, but
Yeah,
I just
I've got nothing against the Swans,
See.
and I hope Sydney win for Brody Grundy. I hope he gets a premiership. From a Collingwood perspective, I hope he gets
Toby Green. Toby Green. I want to see him just give it back. Everyone hates him. He's a gun.
Captain Green.
Yeah.
But
I'll tell you what,
Callum
though.
Ward, there's good storylines
Yeah.
in all teams.
Fagan needs to be careful because he might be the new Ken Hinkley if they don't
True.
get the job done soon. So,
true.
you know, just a little precursor maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. All right,
All right.
lads.
Good night.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.